The service falls into three main areas. We've got an inpatient unit, and we're sat in the conservatory of that unit, which has 12 places, 12 beds. Each of the rooms are individual, so there's no ward as such.
Right.
They're all in the same area, but there's no big ward like you might see in a hospital.
Yeah.
And that, if you like, is the heart of the hospice. But some other important services are a day hospice, which is 60 places a week, 12 places a day.
Right.
And a family support service, because we firmly believe in looking after not just the person who may be the patient, but also the family who've been caring for that patient. Yeah. And so we try to look after everybody's needs as far as we can. And of course, we've been around now, this is our 31st year.
Wow.
So it's quite a long time.
And going from strength to strength?
Well, yes. I mean, times are difficult.
Yes.
We all know that.
Of course.
But I'm constantly amazed at how generous the people of Halton are, because you're probably aware that over half of our running costs come from the people of Halton.
Absolutely.
And even when times are hard, jobs are thin on the ground, money's short, people are still incredibly generous. And just this last weekend, we had our twilight walk.
That's right.
Yeah, best ever. 592 people took part.
My colleague Dave was one of them.
Oh, really?
Had a whale of a time.
Yeah.
So, and I think as well, praise to your fantastic fundraising team as well.
I mean, to be honest, I was incredibly proud of them.
Yeah.
And it was lovely to see it wasn't just the fundraising team there. We had nurses taking part, two dressed as GB Olympic swimmers.
Very nice.
Others manning the desks. So all of it's very much a team effort here. It's not precious that, I'm a nurse, I'm a fundraiser.
Absolutely.
And I think that's one of the keys to our success.
Yes.
And that night it just happens that it's just occurred, really.
Yeah.
Was a fantastic example of that. And the people of Halton supporting us. So
that's right. And the rain held off, I think.
It did.
Which in this summer is extraordinary.
yes. I'd like to say that was down to my wonderful fundraising team, but I don't think they could organise that thing.
Tell us a little bit about your role.
My role, I'm one of the two directors of the hospice, so we have a slightly unusual setup in that we don't have one chief exec. We have me, I'm director of corporate services, and Linda Smaut, who's director of clinical services. So day to day, I look after things like the fundraising, the finance, the maintenance, contacts with partners in the community, housing trusts, this kind of thing. That's my day-to-day role.
Yes.
But jointly, the two of us answer to the board, and we are jointly responsible for the running of the hospice.
And keeping that infrastructure, that behind the scenes, making sure that everything's staring in the right direction, I suppose.
Hopefully.
Well, this is the Healthy Blog with Halton and St Helens VCA. So let's talk health issues for a while. The health framework is changing nationally and locally. What do you think this means for the voluntary sector here in Halton?
I think it's a fantastic opportunity, actually, because I know the reforms in the health service. Well, there are a range of views about them. Having said that, locally for us, I think one of the two most encouraging things I've been to this year, one was the public launch of the CCG.
Right, the Clinical Commissioning Group.
Yeah, the Clinical Commissioning Group. And I came out of that meeting thinking, well, don't know what the national picture is going to look like, but actually, I think it's going to work for Halton.
Yeah.
And I was enormously encouraged by that. So it's, as I say, it doesn't matter what your views are necessarily on the national picture. I think for us, it'll work. And one of the reasons it'll work, I think, particularly for the hospice, is that we'll have one clinical commissioning group for Halton, one hospice for Halton, one local authority for Halton. So we're all looking together at the same group of people, the same needs.
And it's strange to me that this kind of joint-up approach hadn't happened before.
Yes, I mean, I think we had the Primary Care Trust that started, I mean, strangely really, we had a Halton Primary Care Trust, which was at the time deemed to be too small, was amalgamated, became Halton and St Helens. And we almost seem to have come full circle in terms of the area which the organisation covers. I appreciate a CCG is not a PCT, and not designed to be anything like it. But yeah, it's strange, a small world, really.
And great to see the local authority really coming into the picture as well.
Absolutely, because the local authority are expert on the borough.
Yeah.
You know, they know the needs of the people. And we're fortunate we've got a very good one.